Yeah, forever be grateful for Brice Williams and Juwan Gary for everything that they've done for our program, and been through some pretty special moments with within the history of Nebraska basketball, and I'm just so proud of both of those guys for everything that they've accomplished, not only on the court but more importantly off the court, and the growth that I've seen. Juwan Gary, if he would have told me 3 years ago that he would have emerged as the leader, I would have questioned that. But he just has come in and done what's ever asked of him. And, the kid plays with so much heart and effort. And I know he's going to go down as a lot of people's, up there with one of their favorites that's ever worn the uniform. And, Brice, what he has accomplished, when you jump up a level, you never really know what type of production you're going to have. And he had an unbelievable season a year ago, but we needed somebody to emerge into that go-to guy. And when you need a basket, who's going to have the ball in their hands? And, Brice consistently has made the right play. And, early in the year, we had close games, and he was the guy that helped us, extend a lead and win some tight ball games kind of going away. And, what he did against Ohio State, and is in the record books right now. All-time leading scoring performance in a single game. Just everything that he has done, for this team, getting us in the tournament a year ago. I mean, still a lot of things to play out. I'm confident we'll play in some postseason. Hopefully it's the big one, but I think we're going to continue on, playing basketball after this. After this.
They're both done.
Sorry, where were we? Yeah, I love them both. At the end of the day, I love both those guys, and they'll go down as two of my all-time favorites. And then, in the other guys as well, Raleigh, Braxton, Aaron, for what they've done, Andrew in the 1 year we've had him. And the guy that, I know I've talked about him some, but Jeff Grace, holds a special place in my heart. He played AAU basketball with my twins back in Chicago. And, he's honestly the voice you hear every day is Jeff's. And, he's out there at the end of games trying to get on the floor and get steals. And, I love that kid. I'm going to do whatever I can to help him. Mom passed away from COVID, several years ago, and he needed a home. And I think he found that here. So, Jeff Grace, again, I know you guys don't see what he does and the impact that he has on our program, but, when you have guys that sit down there at the end of the bench that bring positive energy and a voice every day, it's such a luxury for us as coaches.
What do you tell guys about managing the emotions of seniors?
Yeah, I think I tell this story every year that, that senior day comes around. I got beat my senior day because I was so charged up and I was so emotional going into that. And, there's so much at stake for us with this game. And you just can't let your emotions get out of control. I was so hyped up. I was missing shots barely on the back of the rim that, I'd made my whole career. I was 3 for 16 against Oklahoma. I can tell you what every shot was. I stole the ball and, I didn't slam it on the ground, like what happened. But, it messed me up. So, you got to have your emotions in check with this game. And I think our guys will. They've prepared well, after an absolute gut punch of a loss, 3 of them in a row now. And, they've still found a way to bounce back and prepare. And, excited to see what we have tomorrow. I'll say this. I walked in there, and Brice and Juwan were addressing the team, and I let them talk. I just let them go, and, just told them they were talking about how, they'll go to battle with those guys every day of the week, and, they, talked about how proud they were of the effort through some tremendous adversity that we faced in that game. And, we had to get over that. You can have hangovers, obviously, in this business, especially when, you repeatedly get kicked in the nuts, and that's what's in the gut, and that's what's happened to us on multiple occasions this year. So our guys, again, to have leaders, seniors, to be able to get your guys back on track quickly when those types of things happen. You have to have it. And again, those guys have done a great job emerging into the guys, the voice. You have to have it. Your best players have to be the guys that set the example and set the tone. And that's where Brice and Juwan, I really think have grown, into those roles. And again, I was proud of them when I walked in that locker room after the game, and those two guys, there was no head hanging, and those guys wouldn't allow it after the loss.
From a former player's perspective, does a stretch like this motivate you to get over that hump more, or does it, I guess, how much mental toll does it take having games end like this?
I'd love to lie to you and say it doesn't have any effect, but sure it does. I mean, when you have in all different circumstances, we miss a shot at the end of the game. Minnesota makes a shot at the end of the game. You saw everything that happened in the last game against Ohio State. We don't need to relive all that. And it's three completely different circumstances on how we lost those games. So yes, it does take its toll, to answer your question, Justin. But it is what it is, and we are where we are, and there's nothing we can do about it right now except for go out and prepare for the next one. And that's what our guys have done a solid job of. And, I know Iowa's going to come in here hungry as well. There's a lot at stake in this game for all of us. So, we just got to be on point. We got to go out there and hopefully execute the plan and get off to a good start in an early game.
When did you see that mental, verbal growth from Juwan? Do you remember when you saw him kind of having a different personality?
I think most consistently, Wilson, it was this year. This year he became you saw it at times last year, but it was more when things were going well. And he's been so much more consistent in that. And again, you have to have it. When you lose Casey, who was, I've never seen a guy that brought positive energy more than Casey. Kid had a smile on his face, whatever happened, every day that I've seen him. I saw him in Columbus the other day. He was the same guy, even though it's been a tough year for him. And, you lose that. You lose Rink. Even though he's around, it's not the same impact when you're not on the floor. You lose Josiah. Even though he was around for a while, it's not the same. You lose CJ, who, again, he was a guy that really emerged into a leader for us a year ago. So, some of it was because of the necessity of somebody taking over that role and being the consistent guy. And Juwan, for the most part, has been that. He's done that. And again, I'm really, really proud of him. And it's going to benefit him greatly for the rest of his career.
You're familiar with this program beyond your time as a head coach here. I know you still got a story to write and finish here, but would you put Brice with the all-time greats in basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I played against probably the ones that you're putting up at the top, except for Ty Lue came in, I think, a year after I did, and obviously there's some great players before. But I was in an era of Nebraska basketball playing at Iowa State where there were some pretty special players. And, you look at the Piatkowskis, Jerron Boone, Eric Strickland, Mikey Moore. I mean, there were some great players. Bo Reed a little bit before me. And, all those guys were great players. But, Brice is what he's done, especially down the stretch right here, to average, 20 points per game. As far as individual talent, yes, I'd put him up, with anybody. And again, he's put himself in a really good position for his future. And, what he did, right around the new year with the tournament in Hawaii and how he played out there and carried that over to Indiana and UCLA and, the way that he is playing now at the end, it's been fun to see how consistent he has become in that go-to guy role. So, yeah, Brice's talent has been phenomenal. And the thing about Brice, he does it with multiple positions. I mean, he got slid into a spot last year because, of a positional need where he played really more for the first time in his life with the ball in his hands. And now he's playing both roles. And again, that's going to benefit him greatly in his professional career. But yeah, I mean, he's put himself in a great position.
You had, real quick, sorry, you had mentioned after the game on Tuesday that you obviously happy with some calls. Did you even bother Detroit sending anything?
Yeah, sure we did. And I got a call. The way it works is supervisor officials. I actually got a call that night. So we talked that night about different things and my frustrations. And, obviously we can sit here and rehash every one of them. There's a lot of them. But, it's not going to do us any good. It's not going to get the game back. But, yes, I had a conversation. And, he said that most of my grievances I was right on, which, again, that doesn't make me feel better, but, that's the process, and I know there's nothing they can do about it. I like all of those officials that we had. I really do. I feel I've got good relationships with those guys. You know, they're human. I get it. But, yeah, I mean, there were some things I think that could have solidified that game for us. And I'm not talking about the soccer throw-in on the sideline at the end of the game. You know, there was several things before that happened and, that just they weren't called. They didn't go in our favor, which is frustrating because I think if you win that game, we're in. And, that's the thing that's really frustrating to me is, now, everything, if you win that one game, that was a playing game, in our opinion. And our guys did everything to give us the opportunity to win it. But again, it happened. You can't sit here and cry about it. You got to get over it, and you got to move on to the next one. And again, I give our guys credit, for finding a way to bounce back, as opposed to crawling in the corner and sucking your thumb and, feeling sorry for yourself. So, you move on. It is what it is, and, hopefully we go out and play well tomorrow. Thanks.
Sounds very well. But questions? You got about eight minutes. What do you got? So.
This is for both of you guys, I guess, on and off the court. When you look back at your respective times at Nebraska, what has this school, this team, the state, the city meant to you as players and then as people?
Well, I've been for 3 years. Of course, that's you. Being from South Carolina, like, it's a whole different atmosphere. From the weather, people, the environment, support system. But as time has moved on, you realize like how much people care for you, just outside of the sport itself. Like, of course, people love you because you're a basketball player. Like, you play for the Huskers, but people actually like took the time to actually like get to know us, to know the people who actually are, like the people who actually came from. People actually like mold ourselves to be today. So, we basketball players and them, but at the same time, I still consider everybody like support system, friends, stuff like that. So I would say my time in Nebraska, as times went on, it's been an amazing experience. I can't say nothing else about it. Like, it's been something that helps me mold me to the man I am today, and I appreciate everybody that helps me involved in that, like Coach Fred, even my academic advisor, Alyssa, stuff like that. So, even you guys, we talk to y'all guys majority every day for real. So, seeing y'all guys every day, hearing y'all voices, like conversate with y'all, like we build some type of connection there too. So, my time in Nebraska, like, it been an experience, and just always gonna consider it home to me for sure.
I say pretty similar. I mean, it's different. Nebraska's different coming from the South, but in 2 short years, a place has kind of been singed into my heart where I'm gonna remember this place forever. Remember everything it's done for me. Remember all the experiences, the fans. I mean, running out the smoke, them being loud and cheering. Never been in a stadium that sells out every game or that gets as loud as the Vault. And then just the people, the long-lasting relationships that I built, and then kind of just coming into my own and growing up and kind of spreading my wings. It's been an experience, but a good experience that I've really liked actually.
What do you guys expect those emotions to be like? Tomorrow, and how do you put that aside when there's a job to do?
I hope it ain't no emotions for real until after the game, until like the buzzer. But I mean, for real, I'm just gonna try to stay in the moment, but also take in the moment and live in the moment because it's gonna be something I remember forever. And I'm never gonna get that moment back. And then I know that throughout my college career, I've never taken the time to actually like take in a moment or like celebrate or be happy about the game. It's always like what's next instead of enjoying what you accomplished. But after the game tomorrow, I'll be able to just set everything aside and just look back and be grateful.
Yeah, like you said, I hope it ain't no crazy emotions going on before the game, stuff like that, because we still got a job to do, which is win tomorrow. But like I said, it's something that we play for, it's something that we reach our goals to. You got a lot of people that didn't want to done, stuff like that. We had our last year of college where I feel like this is one of our best years overall, like as a man and as a player, that we overcome a lot of adversity. Of course, we're not having the result of the year that we wanted to, but we still got an opportunity to make a run, and that's what we're reaching for. So no matter how things go tomorrow, no matter how emotional everybody's going to be during it or before it, but we still got a job to do, which is win. After the game, of course, you get to sit back and just realize, like, man, like, I'm a Cornhusker. It's something that I embrace, something that I love to be, something I always going to consider home. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of people, it's grateful for me and Brice to even come back here, stuff like that for last year. So, I'm just going to say thank you to everybody, the state of Nebraska, just for, bringing me in, just loving me for who I am and just embracing me all the aspects for sure. So, tomorrow's going to be a big day for a lot of people, but at the same time, it's still going to be one hell of a day for Nebraska sports for sure.
When you guys look back on your legacy here, you obviously got the program back to the NCAA tournament last year, and like you said, you're still fighting for that this year. Just how important has that aspect been of your time here in Lincoln?
It's been something that I mean, last year going to the NCAA tournament, even though we fell short, it was an experience that I never experienced before. I know that's different for Juwan, but just seeing everybody rally behind you, you doing things you dreamed of as a kid, playing on the court. Just being there is an accomplishment itself. Not everybody talks about it, but just being there was an accomplishment, and it was a big deal.
Yeah, make it to the tournament. It's something that you always dream for. Growing up as a kid, you always watching March Madness, be like, man, I can't wait to be in them shoes. And last year was one of the first times in many years that Nebraska got in them shoes again. And like Brice said, we fell short, but just seeing how happy everybody was just to get there, like just seeing the environment of Memphis, like you couldn't tell me you couldn't see no other thing but this red in Memphis for sure. Like just the facility that we was playing in was just packed out. You would thought we still back in the PBA, but just to feel how everybody enjoyed of just seeing us make it there. Just imagine us just winning that first game. It's going to be like a whole parade going on. So that's what we ready for. That's what just to cut them ties for sure. Like we know we could get there, but just giving them that hump just to win that first game, it's going to be something special. To where once they win that first game, I feel like anything could happen at that point. Anything's going to sky the limit. So I feel like when we win that first game in the tournament and we get there, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait for sure.
Juwan, a while back, Fred said if you had told him when you first got here that you'd be one of kind of the main voices on a team. He's not sure he would have believed you. How have you? I guess what's gone into that development for you of being more of a talker, being more of a vocal guy?
Just trust my teammates. I would say growth for sure. Without these guys, I would never be comfortable just to be myself. That person who got to talk for sure. Like I would say, I would give courtesy to all my teammates, to let me just be myself. Like you don't got no guys who actually, back talking and stuff like that when I'm actually like trying to lead them. Because today we all got the same job, which is win basketball games here. So, me using my voice is not me to down somebody or give them somebody. But like, I'm actually here to help people because I know a lot of people help me too. So, I can understand why Fred said he wouldn't believe me like my first year here because I wasn't that type of dude to even correct somebody over using my voice. But over the time, he trusted me, and that's one thing that I needed. I just needed somebody to trust me. Of course, it came a time that I did not want to talk, but it's no days that I can not go out and practice and have a bad practice but not talk. I can have a bad practice, but just a bad practice in silence is a worse day for me. So, that's one person I could say that trusted me and believed in me, according to the team and other coaches too. But him trusting me now in my last year is something that I'm actually blessed for because at the end of the day I can use my voice not only in basketball, but I use my voice outside of basketball. It's like I go to a kids game or something like that or go somewhere in public, I can also just be comfortable just to speak to somebody about basketball. I know every time somebody asks me a question, it's about basketball. So I'm actually comfortable doing that. So I would definitely say thank you to Fred to just even trust me to build my voice to what it is today.
Brice, you've only been here for 2 years, but your name's already all over the program record books. I guess when you look back just over a year ago when you announced your decision to return, has that decision played out? I know that the team success has been up and down, but just for you personally, your experience this season, has it been what you had hoped it would be going into this year?
Yeah, it's been everything I hoped. It's been everything I hoped for it to be.
They going crazy out there. Gymnastics, baby, yeah.
It's been everything I hoped for it to be, with the ups and downs. But I mean, it goes into my story. The ups and downs make you stronger. It shows your toughness and your resilience, and it really brings out your true character. So I mean, even though we dropped a few games, we still have a forward outlook. But yeah, it's been everything I wanted it to be. Nothing short of amazing. I mean, the good and the bad. Being in the record books, being in all these talks, it's all great, and it's actually like a good accomplishment. Something you. It's a dream. It's like a personal goal. So I'm happy about it. But I'm just still ready to see what we have left.
Juwan, you mentioned you guys still make a run. How have you seen the team reset since Ohio State and just focus, like Brice says, on being forward looking at what can happen now the rest of the way?
I told after the game of Ohio State, nobody head dropped. I would definitely say that's a big step for us. You can see a couple guys, down themselves after a loss, after a 2-point loss, stuff like that. But we fought to the end. We played 50 minutes of basketball. Like, that's something that I never did before in college. I never went to a double overtime at all. So, of course we fell short. Of course we didn't agree on some calls, and of course we didn't agree on a lot of things during the game. But one thing I did give credit to is how we kept fighting. We could have lost in the regulation. We could have lost in the first overtime, but we didn't at all. We came back, just kept fighting, no matter how the game was going. So, the reset happened right after the game. I would definitely say that. It didn't happen the day afterward. It happened like right after the game for sure. Because people know, like, we dropped this one, but we know what we're capable of. Like, of course, we got to come back and fix the little things, stuff like that. So, like Brice said, we still looking forward towards this NCAA run for us. Guys still going hard every day in practice, no matter what the outcome is or anything right now. So, I'll definitely give props to all the guys that still contribute to, this road journey that we still on. And I feel like we're going to fulfill it for sure.
Quick one, guys.